Hello and welcome to another episode of Every Day is a New Day, live here on Facebook. And I'm just going to take a quick look over on Facebook and make sure that we are showing up. And yes, we are. So awesome. I'm going to go ahead and close that. And hello, I am your host, Kim O'Neill. I love doing these broadcasts with you, and I love bringing you new and interesting guests. I'm so excited about today's guest because this is fun for me because I met today's guest, I don't even know how many years ago, and I didn't really meet him. I just somehow stumbled upon him on Facebook, I think, years ago. And I heard some of his music and I was like, oh, I was totally drawn in. And it's been one of those connections all these years where just really kind of an acquaintance contact for me. And he's been doing some new things in his life lately and caught my attention again. And I reached out to him and he said yes to being my guest on today's show. So I'm super excited about that. And so with that said, I want to introduce you to Ryan Walker. Hello, Ryan. Uh-oh, is he frozen? So, Ryan, if you can hear me, you are frozen on my end. I see we've got a few people here. So hello, and let's just go ahead and check in. I see Nori and Jason. I see Calvin and a few other faces. Oh, goodness. So let's see. It froze. Ryan, can you hear me at all? This is the whole technology dance that happens, right? So I'm trying to decide in this moment if I should continue on or if we need to actually step away and try to start again. And if you can, let's see here. How about this? If you can see Ryan move, because I'm not quite sure. Oops, I just dropped my phone. If you can see Ryan move or hear him, please comment in the comments. And in the meantime, let me take a quick look at. But don't you love when it freezes in like a good pose? Because look at that. He's smiling. It's like so perfect. Okay, so I am, okay, he has messaged me. He can hear me. It's all good on his end. Great. Okay, so for some reason, it's completely frozen. I can't hear Ryan whatsoever. And we literally were just talking. So I don't know why this happened. So Ryan, how about this? Can you leave and come back? So just turn off your camera, close out this Be Live, and then just rejoin again using the same. Okay, so Ryan will be right back. Awesome. We have one viewer. Hello, one viewer. Thank you for bearing with us. Why don't you, I would love to know who's with us right now as we are live and we're just going with the flow right now. Feel free to let me know who is live with us if you'd like to comment. And in the meantime, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and get Ryan's bio back up because Ryan is really, really interesting. And as you've probably seen, he is a soul-centered life and love coach. That's what he's doing today. In addition to some of his music, too.
Can you see and hear me?
Oh, I can see and hear Ryan now. Yes. Okay. Not sure what happened there. So we are back. Okay. So Ryan, why don't you go ahead and tell everyone who you are and what you do?
Wow. Okay. I have a new answer to that.
Go for it.
My answer from the spiritual perspective is I am love. And if you want to know more about me in regards to what I'm doing in the physical world, I've recently started to change my focus to be of service to others in a new way, which is to as I kind of open myself, I just feel that I want to assist others in their journey as well. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. And I also, as you know, I do a lot of stuff with music, which is how you and I met. So I sing and I write and I produce and I DJ. And I love.
And say it again?
my love.
I love that. I love the way yeah, it's a complete sentence. I love.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. So tell us more. You started to say about how as you become more open, you've realized you want to do coaching and move in more of that direction. What does you becoming more open, what does that mean to you? What does that look like? What's that experience like for you?
It's a really good question. Uh, the honest answer is it can be extremely painful
Yeah.
and beautiful all at the same time. It's not something that is easy to do. I think if it was easy to do, most of us would do more of it. It can be challenging. You really look into a lot of the darkest parts of yourself, and you have to get good at practicing being compassionate with yourself and forgiving. It's challenging. It can be really challenging, you know?
I've been told that the spiritual journey is a solo journey. It's not something that anybody can really do for us, right? We might be able to ease and soften each other's journeys, but yeah, I can understand. I just wanted to see what else you'd have to say about that, because I think a lot of people are experiencing journeys like that right now. And so it's always good to hear from other people who are going through it.
Sure. In what regards do you want me to respond to? Like specifically what aspect?
No, that was awesome. That was awesome. If for those that are watching, if you have any extra questions as we go along, feel free to write those in the comments, and we can elaborate on certain things. But no, I think that was excellent. That was perfect. Yeah. So Ryan, what is your story, or at least how do you respond to that question?
What is my story? Okay. If I were to summarize it briefly, I would say that I've consciously had an awareness of love since I was maybe 6 years old, and the presence of love within myself that felt very, very profound. And of course, I didn't quite have an understanding of it. And, I've gone through life, as we all do, having experiences and judging those experiences and kind of creating our identity around those experiences. And then full cycle coming back around to really start to learn how, we're not the experiences that we have. I'm not my experiences. I am the love that I've felt since I was a child. And
so let me ask you, what have your experiences gifted you, though? You are not your experiences, but what have you learned from those experiences? And
it's a really great question. There's been a lot of learning.
Well, you mentioned that a long time ago when you were a kid, you knew that you were love. And if I start to say anything that's a little off, then feel free to certainly correct me. But you said that a long time ago when you were a kid, you knew that you were love, but then life happened and maybe you didn't quite, I don't know. It sounds like there was something in between then and now. And how would you categorize or define what that, yeah.
Well, it's not even that it stopped happening now. I feel like we go through these cycles of really feeling connected and experiencing our love.
Okay.
Excuse me, I still have a cold. I'll try not to cough.
It's okay.
So, even currently, as I continue to work on myself, I still have moments where I really have like this experiential knowing of who I truly am. And then other times I feel completely disconnected from that. Not to say that I am disconnected from it, but my experience appears to be disconnected from it. And that's kind of like a cycle that I think we all go through. And
siren on my end.
but yeah, so that's kind of what that you know, the life lessons have been like. Um, Buying into the misbelief that I am anything other than peace and joy and wisdom and love. You know, we can get into specific scenarios, but like I know we have an hour to work with, but basically having other experiences throughout life where I thought I was anything other than this, and it still happens. Like I'm not saying that it doesn't continue to happen. It's just the cycle. You know?
So what helps bring you back to that place to remember that you are not this situation or this label or that label? What helps bring you back to knowing and embodying, embracing your truth as being love and peace and joy and all that?
I'm really glad you asked that question. And the reason why I'm glad is because I do think I have practices that assist me in this, but I'm still even searching. You know, like I think if I had to say what my goal is, it would be to increase the frequency and the duration in which I'm tapped into that place.
Okay.
You know, so I'm there more often and I'm there for a longer period of time.
So what does that look like for you? It sounds like you're talking about meditation.
Well, that's one of the things in which I do. Yeah.
Okay.
And I've been practicing transcendental meditation, which I really, really love. I was horrible at a lot of other kinds of meditation.
Okay.
They weren't working for me, and I tried this, and it's really been working for me. And what I like about it is to give you this is the metaphor that they use to explain it, which I really, really like. I think it's very helpful. So just as there's always waves in the ocean, sometimes the waves are subtle, and sometimes there's a storm and the waves are crashing, but the ocean is never still on the surface. You know, there's always some movement going on, just as the mind always has thoughts. The mind is made to have thoughts. It doesn't stop. It really doesn't shut off. It just, our brains don't stop working. So if we wanted to find peace, like say we were in the ocean, we wouldn't try and stop the waves, regardless of whether we're crashing waves or subtle waves. We would just dive deeper, and the deeper we go, the more peace there is. And that's pretty much how transcendental meditation works. We're not trying to stop our thoughts. We just transcend them. We dive deeper, and then we find the peace underneath, you know?
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
I've been doing meditation for quite a while, but honestly, I haven't done much with transcendental meditation. So it's still something new for me to explore even.
Yeah, I highly recommend. It's worth looking into for sure. I love it.
Okay. Awesome. Well, I just want to take a quick moment to say hello to Lillian. I see Lillian here and Jason as well. Thank you so much for being here with us. As we go along, feel free to type in comments or questions for Ryan or myself or just anything in general that we might be talking about. This is intended to be an interview, but also a conversation and a back and forth. So I think I've gotten a little bit better at looking at the comments while I'm in the middle of the interview. So feel free to give me something to work with. But let's see. Let's move on, Ryan. So you, we've already gone pretty deep. You've already identified that, you know, although you have these titles, singer, songwriter, DJ, music producer, soul-centered life and love coach, that bottom line, bring it all back down, you are love. And your story of once knowing that about yourself and then, but I don't know. Would you say that you forgot that you were love or that you just didn't fully accept it for many years and now you've started to?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think I maybe just forgot or didn't. It could be both. And I wouldn't say that it was like, it's not like there's years that go by and you don't experience that. It's just right. Like, you know, bigger periods of time that go by. And, you just kind of, you go through things, you know, like I'll give you one example. You know, I did the whole move out to LA to follow your dreams thing and ended up living in my car for 4 months. And I really identified with that situation. I really allowed it to define me at the time. And, you know, I felt a sense of worthlessness and failure. those kinds of things. Which there's so many perspectives you can have on that situation. Like there's courage and there's resilience, and so it's just a matter of how we perceive things. But at the time, I was struggling with that experience, and so I felt less of the love,
Right.
And I really have come to realize that whenever we're experiencing something that is painful, all we're really doing is getting feedback from the universe or God or whatever you prefer, whatever terminology you prefer to use. That we're off track. It's like whenever I really am experiencing love and peace and joy and bliss. It's kind of crazy because it's almost like nothing can disturb me. I just am, and everything is good. And then when I start to buy into certain misbeliefs, like whether it's thinking I'm not good enough or whatever that happens to be, that's painful. Or if I am rejecting parts of myself, not accepting certain things of myself, those things are painful. And it's really just because we are intended to love ourselves and accept ourselves and know that we are worthy of everything.
Absolutely. Yes. Well, what would you say your values are, and how have you set your life up to reflect those values? We've kind of already been touching on that, but is there something else that comes up for you when I ask it in that way?
Yeah. So let me take a moment to sit on that for a second. My life values. I guess I've always had this this desire or idea of wanting to see like a world where we're all good to each other, but it's really become clear to me how important it is to be good to yourself, and to start with ourselves. That's been my experience. The more I focus on loving myself, the more I actually have to give to others. And I think that's probably the biggest lesson that I've learned, and that's probably one of the things I value the most at this stage that I'm at, is the importance of taking time for ourselves. If we don't do that, we really don't have anything to give, and we can't really be there for anyone else if we're not there for ourselves first.
Can I ask you about your music?
Absolutely.
So your music, every time I've seen you sing, and I've actually never seen Ryan sing live, but the recordings that I've seen of you, you're very passionate and they're very soul-filled songs or messages. And so is singing a passion for you? How did you get into singing?
It's just been something I've always done. Kind of like music has always just been part of how I express myself and how I feel. Even as a kid, my mom would tell me I would be banging on pots and pans while I was in diapers.
One of those.
I was one of those. Yeah, she even bought me. I don't have any memories of this other than maybe seeing some pictures. But she had bought me like a toy drum set, like that was Animal from the Muppets.
Okay.
So, animal toy drum set.
Yes. Picture it. Okay.
And then my mom used to record us, like my sister and I, when we were little, just singing songs on a tape recorder, stuff like that. So it's just always been part of how I express myself. And through middle school, I started getting into choir. High school, did a lot of different stuff with choirs, and started. In middle school, I also learned how to play the drums for real.
Okay.
And, I started to dabble on the piano in high school a little bit, and then once I went to college, I I started to study the piano a little bit more and started to write more. Because I started writing actually lyrics in elementary school. I started writing poetry and rap lyrics actually.
And say that again.
Rap lyrics, like poetry and rap lyrics. Like I was in, I think, 4th or 5th grade.
Okay, so now I don't know if I told you this before, but I used to do the same. I didn't call it rap lyrics though. I used to write songs when I was a kid, and I remember one time actually finding like a torn paper like lunch bag on the ground at school, and then like a half broken pencil, and me and my best friend are like, yeah, let's write a song. And then like having these visions of like, oh, this is one day going to be like a famous piece of like artwork, and it was this torn lunch bag. Anyway, my point is, had lots of those moments as a kid, writing, on regular clean paper too. And finally one day as a teenager realizing, okay, there's no music. I guess these are just poems. Do you ever have any of that, or did you always add music to your?
Well, for me, the difference between poetry and lyrics has a lot to do with the cadence. You know what I mean? So there's different cadences for poetry than there is for lyrics. So for me, they always were separate, just because I guess I could always hear the music in my head.
Got it. Okay.
If it was a poem, it was a poem, and if it was a song, it was a song. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Well, so now, how did you shift into doing more of the soul-centered life and love coaching that you're doing today?
I just made a decision. That's really it. It's. So
what prompted the decision?
Tapping it, just accepting more of who I am. So this is really a great question to be used as an example of my own journey and my own growth. It's like I've had this awareness within myself of this beautiful, loving essence in the nature that I am, and because of all these experiences I've had throughout my life, and I started to identify with other things, pain, or I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough was a big thing for me. I'm not saying it doesn't play a role in any way whatsoever. Still, it's kind of like chipping away at it a little bit. But as I've chipped away at this idea that I'm not good enough, I finally got to the place where I was like, no, I have a lot to offer people. I have so much love within myself. And I've realized that one of the most painful things that most of my pain has been from denying the love within myself, and from not giving myself the opportunity to really share that more with people on a regular basis. So I have all this to give, and to not give it is really just, it hurts.
Yeah.
So I finally got to the point where I realized or accepted more of the beauty of who I am.
Nice.
And, once I got to that point where I was like, no, I have a lot to offer, and I don't want to say should. I choose to give.
Nice.
I really choose to give. So it was just chipping away at these things that have been holding me back from living authentically. So whenever that happened, I just was like, I'm not going to say it didn't take some courage. It took some courage. There, I can come up with like a list of reasons as to why I shouldn't even be claiming the title of life coach, or even offering certain services. But I've learned that we're all on a journey, and there's always something to be learned, and there's always something that we can teach. So I know that there's people that can learn from me. Why should I allow my insecurities to deny me and them of a certain experience? Like, maybe I might be perfect for someone where they are along their journey,
Right. Yeah.
And at the same time, just because you're teaching one person something doesn't mean they're not teaching you anything. Usually we're mirrors for each other. you know. So as I am a teacher, I'm also a student, and it just goes for all of us.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, just want to take a quick look. We have a few viewers here, and Marcella said, "Light and love to you, my friend." I take it that as someone that you know.
Yeah, she's very sweet.
Awesome. So hello, Marcella. And we also had Jason here saying good stuff. So that's awesome. Good to
my friends.
good to see both of your comments here. And we had Lillian who said hi. So good to see you all here. So Jason, tell us some more about who you are and this journey that you've been. I know in your bio, it says that you're currently studying spiritual psychology at Santa Monica Community College. No, it's not community college, is it?
No, it's the University of Santa Monica.
Thank you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us more about that. I remember looking at that program a long time ago and just like, oh, I'd love to do this. I ended up going a different route, did a law of attraction coaching program, which gave me a lot of what I think I also draws me to the one that you're doing. But tell us about that and what that experience is like for you and whatever comes up.
The spiritual psychology program at the University of Santa Monica, I feel, is what I've been looking for my whole life.
Okay.
Feeling like I've always been searching, I've always felt this some sort of connection and a desire for spirituality. And I've always had an interest in psychology and trying to understand myself. But for me personally, I had been turned off by religion quite a bit throughout my life. And
Is your family religious?
I mean, I think most of my family would probably at least claim to be Christian.
Okay.
Like they would identify that way. As far as how much they practice, going to church and all this stuff. I didn't grow up going to church.
Okay.
And honestly, I'm really grateful for that experience. I feel that it's allowed me the opportunity to trust in my own inner wisdom, and I really feel like we are all connected to God, and everything points to God. Everything is from God, and we can be told certain things and believe them, but then there's something within us that just knows also. We really know the truth, which for me, what I struggled with religion was how there's separation involved in it. Like there's different religions that will claim to be the only truth, and even denominations within particular religions that, it's like, it's pretty obvious that there's perspective involved with all of this, and that's totally okay. We're allowed to have our beliefs and our perspectives. But I always struggled with the separation aspects of it, So I've always really believed and felt in my heart that God really is love, and anything that's showing up in any particular type of practice that seems to exemplify otherwise did not ever resonate with me, and I just couldn't. I just couldn't, So I was so happy to find this program where I could really start to. I feel like it's an opportunity to look at things a little bit more simplified, almost.
Okay.
And try and remove like ego from everything. It's like do the best that we can to remove like our perspectives. Like they're always going to be there because we're human. Like we have our lens, our personal lens that we're always seeing things through. But to try and make the best attempts to just have this experience in peace within us, and the connectedness and the oneness. I don't know if that's very clear. Is that clear?
I'm not sure, but sometimes some messages, you know, you can hear something and receive one part of the message at one time and another part of it another time. So for those that are watching, let us know what your thoughts are on what Ryan has been talking about, and if you have any questions about that. So Ryan, so then how would you sum up what your perspective is on the meaning of life or of having a life purpose?
I'm going to start sounding redundant over here, but I really feel that the purpose of life is to love and to be loved.
Okay.
And we're going through this journey of awakening and remembering who we all truly are. So, like from the spiritual perspective, at least through what we're learning at the University of Santa Monica, they call it the Earth School. You know, we basically they refer to it as having a spiritual curriculum. So, you know, the foundation of the principle is, rather than being a human who has a soul, you are a soul having and or using the human experience to awaken, to learn lessons, and to remember that in which you truly are.
And Jason says he would definitely like to hear, here, I'll pop this up. He would definitely like to hear more about transcendental meditation and experiences that you've had. Ooh. Yeah. Does anything come up for you, Ryan, that you can share with us? Thank you for that question, Jason. Great question.
What I like about TM is and a lot of the spiritual work that I'm doing, I really appreciate that we're not trying to lessen the human experience. You know, we're not trying to get up into the clouds so we're not grounded anymore. You know, like there's a reason we're here. You know, if we weren't supposed to be here, we wouldn't be here. So what I like about transcendental meditation is that you know, you do 2 20-minute meditations a day, and the philosophy of that is, you know, you do one in the morning, and then you go through maybe half of your day, and you do another one. And it's when you tap into that place, then you're bringing it back out. When you tap into that peace within yourself, you bring it back out into the world. You know, so you're not trying to escape the world that we're in. We're bringing more of that peace and that love and that joy from within us out into the world. And I feel that TM has really been of huge assistance in providing that for me. That's probably the biggest takeaway I've gotten from it. I used to have a lot of anxiety and struggle with depression, and it's significantly decreased all of those experiences.
And how long have you been doing TM now?
Only 10 months.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's started working for me very quickly. I think even after, I want to say, even after a month, I started to really notice some significant changes in myself.
Okay. We have another question here from Joe Mincer. Thank you, Joe. He's saying, can you explain how you always try and see the loving essence in everyone? That's a great question, Joe. Thank you for that.
Hey, Joe. That's one of my closest friends right there. He's my soul brother.
Nice. Hello, soul brother. And Jason is one of my soul brothers, so thumbs up to Jason as well. Good questions, guys. Love it. Keep it coming. Keep it coming.
Yeah, that's a good question, Joe, that you're asking that. So, okay, well, first of all, we have to say that one of the principles of spiritual psychology that we learn at USN is that, you know, you have this idea that we're a soul having and using a human experience, and our nature is love, right? So everybody, you're welcome, Jay. So everybody has a loving essence. That's our essence of who we are. And so of namaste, for example. I mean, namaste really refers to that, to take into your consciousness and remember that every single person that you come across in your life is divine. And if you walk around and you go through life and everyone you come in contact with, you just keep that in your consciousness, it will change your experience drastically. I've even told Joe before, we take trips to Costco together. And like sometimes it's really funny. I mean, like I'll be in Costco and there's so many people, and I just somehow am seeing like everyone in the store as like just a divine being and like
nice.
a loving essence. And same thing happens to me when I'm at the gym, so like maybe I'm doing cardio on the arc trainer and I see all these people in the gym working out, and I'm just like looking at everyone and everything, and I'm going, wow, this is amazing. Like all these, like, remember, these are not just people, they are humans, but they're also souls, using this human experience. And I think we just got to keep that in our consciousness, and that practice will really create a lot of change in your life. It has for me.
I think that's a great point to make. And I know that when I start myself out that way, like consciously go, okay, I want to see only love in people, then that's what I will be able to see. So even if they show me back the angry child in them, right, or the hurt whatever, if they show me that side of them, I'm able to still see them through eyes of love. Versus if I don't bring that into my awareness ahead of time, and I go out there and maybe I'm showing up as my wounded child, right? And then I interact with their wounded child, then neither of us are really interacting with the truth of who we are. And we're just getting into the chaos of whatever's going on. And so I think what you're talking about is really good practice to do mindfully. And the more that we do it, it's, of course, we're you're receiving a conscious benefit of it, knowing that you're doing that in the moment. It's helping you be more centered and grounded in your truth of love, as well as being able to see what a different experience you might have encountering other people that you're sending that love out to, or just seeing someone through eyes of love is sending them love. That's how I see it, at least. But the other part of it is that if they're open to it, on some level, they're receiving that. So I think it can be so easy to get caught up in thinking that we can't do anything to help others or to, help heal the world, that kind of thing. But that's something you can do that doesn't require anything else. And it's not forcing someone to receive the love, because they still have the choice, whether consciously or not, to say, yes, I'm open to it, or no, I'm not. Mm-hmm. By you setting that intention and just sending it out and just being it, like you're generating more of that energy around you and for others to walk in. And that's what a beautiful thing that is.
Yeah. One thing that I've really been practicing a lot lately too is just trusting my intuition. And whenever I have like a little feeling like I should do something, I don't even question it anymore. I just do it. And,
So what? Oh, go ahead. Okay, I was gonna say because. Okay, so for you, what does hearing your intuition what does hearing your intuition look like? Like what's that experience like for you? Because I know a lot of people get caught up in questioning and doubting and not being sure of what was their intuition or just a thought.
For me, it's a feeling of like something makes me want to do something. So like whenever I want to do something nice for somebody, even if it's like in an instant, I just do it now. So like, you were saying people can can receive the love, or maybe they're not in a place where they want to be open to receive it, you know? But that's not up to me to decide. Like, I'm never trying to force anything upon anyone, but it's like I've kind of just surrendered, and I trust that if there's something happening in me that's like intuitive, I feel like that's coming from God, and I can honor that, and it's coming from my higher self, and it's to serve that person in whatever way it is to serve them. I don't necessarily need to know how it is to serve them. For example, I was at the gym the other day, and every time I leave the gym, there's a security guard outside who, and even though I'm in LA, it has been cold at night, and he's always looking cold, and I always say, hey, how's it going? The other day, I was like, I want to go get this guy a hat and gloves. He looks like he's freezing. So I went to the store, and I got him like a winter hat and gloves. I came back to the gym, and he was gone. So I just left it in my car. The next day I went to the gym, I saw him there. So I gave him the hat and gloves, and he seemed uncomfortable. I don't know if he'll ever wear the hat and gloves or not. I don't know what that experience was like for him at all, but I wanted to do it. I felt that I was supposed to do it. So I did it. You know, if anything, he at least knows that he's not alone in the world. He at least knows that there's people that are paying attention, and that there are people that care. And I think if we all go through life making small gestures. I mean, I got the hat and gloves for $2, you know?
Wow.
You know, and it's not about the money. It's about the thought and the gesture of, you know, we're here, we're together.
Had you two ever interacted or spoken before that? I mean,
I'd say hi to him and, like, you know, I hope you're having a good night and everything. Like, that's
okay.
About it, you know?
To that extent.
A smile, you know? Yeah.
I wonder if, because things like that, like that's such a nice gesture, so amazing. And it's not necessarily if he chooses to wear the hat and gloves or not, but I feel like what happened in that moment is you saw him. You really saw him. And so who knows, and you may never know, but maybe he's been going through life feeling unseen. And you just gave him an experience of what it's like to be seen, someone who doesn't know him whatsoever. And I think when we've been in the habit of not being seen, feeling like we're not being heard, maybe like we're not being loved, when someone then all of a sudden gives to us, our natural inclination can be to reject it, to block it, and to be confused by it. So you may have given him, like, it was only $2 for you, but it may have been like, oh my goodness, you just could have opened his whole heart with that $2 little hat and gloves.
It's possible. And that's why I say, you know, I just trust my intuition now, and it's not up to me to decide how he receives it, or if he receives it at all. It's just, I'm like, all right, I have a feeling inside of me that I'm supposed to do this, and I just honor that, you know, and I do little things like that whenever it comes up for me, you know, if I can, if it's within, you know, my ability, I just do it. And trust, like, I mean, it's of service to me too. It's not like I feel the love when I do that, and it's beautiful to have that experience, you know, to connect with someone. I'm really grateful.
That's the whole giving and receiving.
Absolutely. I have a really cool story, actually. Can I share a cool story with you?
Please, yes, share.
So first of all, hold on, I'm going to grab something so I can show you. All right. So I have a really cool story about this right here.
Okay.
All right. So my dad, and this ties into giving and receiving. My dad came out to visit me in November, and it was the last day that he was here. We were down in Venice Beach, and we were there for maybe 2 hours. And throughout that 2 hours, for whatever reason, I just kept wanting to give, like little things. Like where people like, there was a guy that was selling really, really cool art. There's a lot of people that do really cool art on Venice Beach. And I asked him how much it was for, something. And he was like, well, it's like $45. Well, I didn't have $45. I had like $3. So, we had already engaged in some really awesome conversation, and I really appreciated who he was and what he was doing. And so I said to him, I said, I just want to encourage you to keep doing what you're doing. I don't have enough money to buy anything from you, but I do have $3 here that I would just like to give you. Just to say, keep doing what you're doing, and I support you. And that was awesome. And I had a few experiences like that, including buying my dad this really awesome T-shirt. I forget what it said. It was like, I don't know, it was a silly, fun dad T-shirt. But I just was in a really place of wanting to give in that period of time, right? So as we're walking back to the car, we go past another vendor who's selling art, and this is there. And I'm like, of course, I'm captivated by it. And I said, I don't even know why I asked, because I didn't have any money on me. But I asked the guy how much it was. And his response to me was, well, it's been a really long, slow day, and I haven't done anything nice for anyone, so I'm going to just give this to you.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it just shows you, it's like I was giving, and then I was receiving.
And it's so fitting for you.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't believe in coincidence. I could tell you so many stories of things that you can't deny. I mean, you could if you want to. But yes, Jason, you're right. Giving is awesome. And you know what else is awesome? Receiving is awesome. And that has been, I've realized for me, been more of a challenge to open myself to receive and feel comfortable with that.
I can identify with that. I think people who naturally give struggle with the receiving end of it, but that's something that we have to embrace and learn to continue to be in that flow, because it's not just about giving. We have to be able to allow ourselves to be filled back up by ourselves, but also from those that want to give to us, because in the receiving, we're also inherently giving to someone else, because allowing them to receive the gift, the joy of what it's like to give, right? Because it's not very fun when you give to someone and they like reject it. Right. Outwardly reject it.
Yeah. We're providing them a beautiful experience to be able to give. And also, if we are never to receive, we have nothing to give.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. It's all part of the back and forth, the dance, the flow. And that's where the whole, okay, let's chuck this limiting belief of I'm not worthy or I'm not enough. We are all more than enough. We are all worthy. And so very cool. Well, Ryan, do you have a favorite quote or joke that you'd like to share with us today?
A favorite quote or joke? I can't think of a joke. I don't know if this is my favorite quote, but of course, be the change that you want to see in the world is coming up for me,
Oh, say it again.
The change that you wish to see in the world.
Be the change that you wish to see in the world? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, the first part I couldn't quite hear the first part, but so cool. Well, that's a good one. And Joe Mincer says, no dad jokes.
Yeah, I'm really good at those.
That's funny. Okay, so on that note, that kind of answers my next question, but what's something unique or quirky about you beyond that maybe you're good at giving dad jokes?
Unique or quirky about me beyond? Oh, man. I don't know. Beyond that? I don't know. I think that's probably the most quirkiest thing about me. Like I really love words. So I love puns and I love wordplay. Um, Actually, if you wouldn't mind, so could I share some music stuff with you?
Yes, please do. Yes.
So I haven't really been focusing on myself as an artist so much because I've been producing more.
Okay.
I plan on starting to start working on my own individual music again. But I have a project with a really great friend that I'm working on right now. His name is Evan Bain. It's a hip hop project. I'm
Okay.
producing it. We're co-writing a lot of it. I do sing on some of the hooks, and I also contribute to some of the lyrics. And I just wanted to share like one small quote from a lyric that we have in a song. It's called "Degrees of Separation." That's the name of the song. And
Okay.
I feel that this particular line actually ties in really well to everything we've been talking about today. The line is, I pray we all awaken. Let's assalamu alaikum. Allah with God and nature, no degree could separate us. So
Nice.
what I love about that is, you know, as we continue to grow and expand, we even have like a deeper understanding of the words in which we can even write. Like Garrett and I wrote these lyrics um, before we even had the level of understanding that we do now. So I pray we all awaken. And then let's assalamu alaikum. What I like about the way in which we're using that is we're making it sound like, peace be unto you is what assalamu alaikum means. But we're like using it as like a verb, like the at the end is like them, let's assalamu alaikum. And then he says Allah, which is, a name for God.
God.
But he's also pronouncing it like he's saying I lie, to lie with. So Allah
Ooh.
with God in nature. No degree could separate us. So we're talking about the oneness of everything and everyone. And I just love that. And I love that we can have lyrics like this in a hip hop song.
I do too. Okay, so now can you say it again so we can hear it with all that
Sure.
understanding?
I pray we all awaken. Let's assalamu alaikum. Allah with God in nature, no degree could separate us.
Nice. That's
It.
pretty cool. Okay. And so then can I ask you, so when is there a timeline of when more music might be coming out?
It's a really great question, Ken.
And you can say that maybe you can't share right now at this time, and that's totally fine.
No, it's cool that you asked this question. Because this has been part of our learning process and trying to not control everything. There's, because like we're not 20, how do I say this? We're not making a living off of that, so we have to make a living some other way right now. We will be making a living off of it, but so far, it's been, we can only put the amount of time in that we can put in. And we go through these periods where sometimes we don't even get to work for a few months, so, and because like, our schedules are conflicting, we have to make a living. And the project will be released by the end of this year. I just don't know when.
Okay.
I'm not sure what month,
Nice. Okay. So, okay, we are wrapping up, but Marcella did have a really nice big question here I wanted to ask you. Ryan, what big awareness did you get at USM? I'll pop it up. There you go. And what are you hoping to get from Insight 2? And what are your next steps regarding self-knowing and awareness?
Okay. So Insight 2 is a seminar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm actually going to be going to this seminar starting this Wednesday. It's called The Opening Heart, which is perfectly aligned with what my journey is.
Absolutely, yeah.
So the biggest awareness that I got from USM, I'm going to have to say the importance of compassionate self-forgiveness.
Ooh, that is so good.
Yeah, that's huge. I'm still learning that, you know. And what am I hoping to get from Insight too? The opportunity to be courageous enough to expand and open. Like I said, starting off, this can be scary sometimes. It's not like um, we just it's all light, and there's the darkness that we have to face. Um, so it's there. We have to face it.
You said yes, and you're going for it and moving through it.
Yeah. I've been lucky to have, I think one of my gifts is a high level of awareness. That has always kind of come pretty easily for me. But then I think the next step, and this is the step that I've been practicing, is to be compassionate with myself and to be forgiving with myself, and to understand that,
you are a soul having a human experience.
I'm learning.
Yeah.
That's okay. I don't have to be perfect.
Absolutely. Yep. So Ryan, where can people find out more about you if they'd like to get in contact with you after this?
You can reach out to me on Facebook if you would like, or you can go to my website, loveisrising.com. I spell rising, R-Y-Z-I-N-G. And you can reach out to me there. You can also sign up for the mailing list, which I call Love Notes, which I really like. So you can sign up to receive Love Notes. I'll send them out on occasion. Just they could be quotes or inspirational messages that help you remember who you truly are.
Nice. Okay, so loveisrising.com, and that's love, LOVEISRYZING.com. Awesome. Well, thank you so much to everyone who has been here with us live, and for all those who are watching on the replay. You can, of course, find out more about me and the coaching services I do and future shows by going to on Facebook at Kim O'Neill Coaching, and O'Neill is O-N-E-I-L-L, or going to KimO'NeillCoaching.com. My next live interview is going to be next Sunday, March 18th at 3 p.m. Pacific, which is always, I have to do it in my head, 6 p.m. Eastern. And that's going to be with my guest, Pete Kosaboon. So more information on Pete will be shared online soon. And I just want to say thank you so much for doing this with me here today, Ryan. It was really nice getting to connect with you and learn more about you beyond your music, and just having this time together, and all our guests as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Kim. I feel very honored that you reached out to me. I really appreciate it.
Well, I look forward to, seeing more about the music and all the things that you are going to be doing, because I really believe that I totally connect with the truth of being love. And I see that we all have that. And anytime someone realizes that about themselves, there's going to be just so much more flowing out. And so it's exciting knowing that you have your music and your coaching and so much more that's to come from you. I look forward to seeing it. So thank you for being you and for saying yes to today. And stay right there, Ryan, but we're going to go ahead and sign off. And so thank you for being here. Remember that every day is always a new day. Where you are today does not have to be where you are tomorrow. And that can be as simple as doing like what Ryan was saying, by saying yes, by being love, staying true to whatever your truth is, and listening to your intuition and moving in that direction. So have a wonderful day, and we'll be back live again next Sunday. Bye for now.